So Jasmine has been playing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora for us, the much delayed game. The main word that comes to mind when reading your preview and chatting to you about it is bewildering, both from the mechanics, the UI, the gameplay, the navigation, the story, the sound, the crafting, the world in general. This seems like a very bewildering game.
Yes, that is the word.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it just doesn't feel finished yet. Like, what happened to me, I didn't write about it in the article, but like, I don't know if I can say it, whatever. But basically what happened was I tried to do another quest first, and I got to the area. It was like, oh, find a fire in the forest biome in the nether region of this map. And I got there, and there's a fire, there's something on fire, and nothing happens. I'm just watching it burn. I can run through flames, nothing happens. And then I called over one of the guys, and I was like, hey, so I'm at like a quest location in, like, I found it in the quest log. Why is nothing happening? And they're like, oh, you shouldn't have done that one first. And I was like, then why is it in my quest log? So it's not even working properly. They set us up in the middle of nowhere, halfway through, like 25% of the way through the game. So it expects that you know what to do, how to move around, all the different items. There's nothing to help you like, okay, this is my quest. It's like, oh, there are 3 quests, but apparently, oh, no, you have to pick that one. You can't do the other ones. I was like, but what if I wanted to do that? What if I wanted to like go out of order?
Well, I'm sorry, our game is that buggy that you can't.
You literally can't. I was like, is something meant to happen? And they're like, oh yeah, I mean, there's meant to be someone here. Anyway, and then they literally just moved on and didn't say anything else. I got to this like location. You have to find these specific fruit, which doesn't tell you how to find things, by the way. It's just like, find this fruit and bring it back to the HQ. So I find random fruit, I return, and I speak to everyone, and I can't find who I'm meant to talk to. I'm like, why doesn't it say on the map marker, oh, speak to this? Like, there should be something saying, like, something over their head, like anything. Nothing. He's like, oh, if you go all the way upstairs, put it on that table, it'll trigger a conversation. How am I meant to know how to do that?
And it's not like there's a fruit merchant.
Yes.
Or there's like, no,
nothing.
it's that table specifically, and that table's not like got a like yellow highlighted thing.
Nothing. There's nothing to guide you. And I'm not sure if they're going to add this in later, but like, you're not going to invite everyone around. This compass is blank. Nothing on it at all. I'm running around the jungle trying to make sense of my guns. Like, won't something attack me? Nothing attacked me. So I had to attack other things to get them to react to me, because otherwise it's just like you're passing through this beautiful kind of empty world that doesn't react unless you've gone in order in these quest thingies. And I was trying to be nicer because I spoke with the developer a little bit later, and I was just like, I've got no idea what this game is about. Literally no, I couldn't pay you to like tell you. But then I spoke with the developer. He was really nice, and like he explained that it's basically what they want you to feel. They want you to feel out of your depth. They want you to be on the same footing as this character that you play who has no idea what's going on. So in their mind, it's literally, as he said, that's a sign of success for us, is if you don't know what's happening, you have to grapple with this strange new world.
And I get where they're coming from. I get that there's been like, there is definitely something about the Souls-like genre making people feel out of depth. I understand that that's the thing that people like a lot at the moment. There's the exploration side of like the Zelda games, which just go out and explore things. But things do have to happen to you when you go out there. The game can't force you to interact with it or be that buggy that it doesn't interact properly. But the other part that they're bringing into it, which again wasn't signposted, is basically like to a certain extent a survival horror. It turned into Resident Evil for you because when you did come across somebody who was shooting back, you didn't have enough ammo left.
Yes, and again, like, I found out about crafting completely by accident just by exploring, and you can't craft any ammo for anything. All you can do is there's like endless supplies of ammo for some reason in these abandoned bases, which are assumed to be from the enemy, because the game takes place at the same time as the Avatar movies, right?
Okay.
But in a complete different area. So the idea is like you're fighting to hold down the fort on your end, whereas on the other side of the world, the movies are happening. Yeah. But, well, the first movie, sorry. But yeah, like in this, it was like I found myself just sort of being like, oh, I can just return back to this random base and loot it for more ammo, I guess, if I can't loot it, not realizing that suddenly, oh, I'm in this combat-heavy scenario. I've spent all of my bullets. I thought I was like out flying around in the sky on my lovely little ikran called Carol. Suddenly, oh, you need to go and shoot down these bases. with what weapons. My bows sucked. My bullets in the gun, they were just gone. It was just like, I only had one gun as well. It was just this semi-automatic rifle just spraying and praying. And when that was empty, I had to leg it and fly off and try and find another base to raid for endless ammo.
Again, maybe the designers have made it like that. Maybe that is part of the game. And you talked about it being a bit of like a mix between Far Cry and Fallout.
Yeah.
And there is elements within Fallout where sometimes you do get to a place and going, oh, I didn't prep for this. I haven't got enough ammo. I stumbled across this. I need to come back. So maybe there is that side where there are those inspirations. But I think that the way that the game looks, it looks like this beautiful cinematic action that is a bit more Far Cry with its just fun. And I just think that I understand you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but people are going to maybe be coming to this thinking it is a more fun, jump in, have a bit of a laugh, jump out thing. And it turns out, no, this is a hard game that doesn't tell you stuff, doesn't tell you where to go, doesn't tell you how to craft, doesn't tell you the mechanics. And it is like punishing. And it's, and like the developer said to you, their design is for you to be lost and confused.
Because like to its credit, at first I thought, okay, I'm aware that I'm starting 24% of the way in. Like maybe they explained these things earlier on, but it was just the fact that like if you were to just step into it, you would not have any idea what to do, where to go. And even like things that are interactable, like they have these little dots on the screen. I didn't realize that they were even important. I was like, oh, it's just part of the, because there's so much happening that these little purple dots, these like pale purple dots, just look like part of a flower. And like
so it's like particle physics just going on. Oh, okay, so you're just like,
and you look around, and only when you look at a specific thing does it actually be like, oh, you can pick this for fruit if you want. There's nothing to sort of
so it's not like it, okay, so they've gone with, instead of it being a UI kind of HUD thing where it like circles and it says a little bit of text, it's just a colour sprite instead.
And then you look at it.
But bearing in mind that this is a completely new world, so they've developed new fauna and new animals that nobody's ever seen, which is amazing. It's great they've done that. But part of it, understandably, if this is a flower I've never seen, you go, well, that purple thing could just be part of the flower.
Yes, precisely. Like it's that thing where, like, for me, I'm just concerned that the world is so beautiful and there's so much to do that it just takes away from this story that's supposed to be, you know, this well-written, really complex sort of story about like patriotism and learning about your roots and your family. And there's this wonderful story that for me just didn't come through at all, because I spent half the time being like, how do I run? Like, how do I build stuff? How do I become one with this world that wants to keep me at such an arm's length? It felt like I was fighting against the game to just know what to do with my time.
If you're trying to work out how to just make it from point A to point B, if somebody's giving you an amazing lore dump on your headphones, you're like, I am not listening to you because I just ran through a cloud that made me faster.
Yes.
But nobody ever told you that. So all of a sudden you're pinging around like, what happened? I don't know why that. Oh, I went through a blue cloud. And then there's also climbing elements that again doesn't tell you have to shoot a certain thing to let the vines come down. But again, because you were dumped 25% into the game, you're like, I'm sure there was a tutorial that told me this, but I didn't know it.
And again, like, even with that, there's no purple dot on the vine fruit saying, vine fruit, shoot me. It's just like, oh, you should know how to do this by now. Climbing, getting around isn't like a smooth kind of parkour Assassin's Creed kind of feel. There's no sort of like obvious thing to do, and you can't jump as high as you might think, and I was grappling with that. But once you get to the top of this beautiful like animal rookery, you're on the back of this beautiful bird called an ikran, and you're swooping, and that feels really nice. But then it's like, oh, find a sky island with purple trees to continue the mission. There are about 1,000 of these sky islands, and I literally was like, where? There's nothing on my mini-map telling me to go anywhere. It's not being specific. It's like, find a sky island with purple trees on it.
And it didn't even say like south-southwest.
No. Sky island with
so you're up there, flying around looking at thousands of islands going, am I literally going to have to check every single one of these?
Yes. Like my heart sunk. I was like, am I going to have to fly around the map? I can see on the map there are a bunch across the map on the other end of it. And my heart sank. I was like, am I going to have to fly like 100 kilometers across the map to find this place? Luckily, it wasn't too far, but I did spend a good like 20 minutes circling, making sure.
To fair play to them, they are trying something very hard, and it is very tricky to have that amazing exploration that you only get in a few games. But clearly, I think that they've missed the mark, and it's very unfortunate.
Yes, I definitely think that the bewilderment comes from, again, this feeling of not knowing what it wants to be. Like, is it an FPS? Like, am I meant to be going around shooting everything? Is it like an open world adventure exploration game?
Is it a
like
survival
Zelda?
game?
Precisely. Is it a survival horror game? Like, what does it want to do? I feel like it's trying to do a lot of things, and it does most of them competently. But the problem arises when I have no idea what the actual purpose of me exploring is. What will I gain from doing this? It's that the question for me was, what are the stakes involved here? Will I even get anything if I go off the beaten path? Will it just be another few thousand yards of just jungle?
Which has been partly Starfield's problem. But this
definitely.
seems like on another level. Starfield, like, at least told you where to go.
Yes.
It was boring getting there, but like, you
Vague.
need to know what you're doing.
Yeah, like it's definitely something that, like, there will be people that want to just run around and have a good time and experience. People that are massive fans of the movies will love it, because to me it feels more like a walking sim of Pandora.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So there's that benefit to it, where there is that it's very artistically driven, it's very lore driven.
Yeah.
But if you're not as interested in that, then you're literally just fighting through like legions and leagues of jungle just to get from A to B, and you don't know why you need to be there.
And it comes out in a couple of months.
Yeah, in December, I'm quite
Eey.
sure. So like, it's not far away. And I mean, I don't know. Let's hope that maybe they add a little bit more in terms of pathfinding. I'm not asking.
Let's hope
for...
that the first 25% that you didn't play has some more tutorials.
Yes.
Maybe there's something else that
You
missed,
know.
and maybe some more pathfinding. And
Yeah.
that
Although,
might work.
I must say, 25% of the way into the game, and that's when you get the flying bird for the first time. That's 25% of the game that you're going to spend walking around on
Oh,
foot.
no.
I didn't even think about that until now. This bird makes map mobility so much easier. You can fly places like 20 times faster.
I mean, you don't know where you're going.
No.
But you can get to somewhere where you don't know where to go quicker.
Yeah, you can fly.
Whereas
I mean,
25% of the game in, you've been wandering.
just wandering around.
Oh my
On
God.
foot.
Okay, well, fingers crossed that they completely change the game in the next 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's hope. There's hope. I mean, Ubisoft are technically very good when it comes to open world games. I'm just hoping that comes through in the final version for this. I really do.